How's everybody doing today? Welcome into another episode of On the Wire with King of the Hill Sports. This week we will be seeing who is on the waiver wire headed into week 6 of the fantasy football season. But first, we will take a look at my fantasy teams where we went 3-0 this week. Another good week. Let's see how we did. We won all 3 of our matchups this week. We're in first place in 2 leagues. We lead the league in points 4 in 2 leagues. Now, my main league that I care about most, whose waiver wire we really dive into every week, which is very, very competitive. I'm 3-2. I'm middle ground. Everything's up in the air in that league. But in the other 2, we're positioned very well, and I like where things are going. Also in my main league where I got the win, I took some of my own advice on the waiver wire last week, starting Trey Sermon and Tucker Kraft, who I had called out. And what did they do? They got us the win, baby. Now, I'm not going to lie, this week, I'm really just about to wing it because there is not much to add. I don't think I'm going to add anybody unless it's a defense or a quarterback, honestly. And you'll just see. Here's who's on the wire heading into week number 6. So there's actually a lot of good options at quarterback on the waiver wire here. After that performance last week, I think you have to add Kirk Cousins. 500 yards, 4 touchdowns, 34-point week. Kirk Cousins had a huge game. He, before that, hasn't been great. I think this is going to skew Tampa Bay's defense a little bit against quarterbacks and wide receivers going forward. He plays Carolina this week, though, Seattle next week, though, then Tampa again. And I'd say I'm not scared of a lot of the defenses that he's coming up against next, moving down the line. I think you could safely add Kirk Cousins moving forward. Daniel Jones. Honestly, Adam. This week, no Malik Neighbors, no Devin Singletary, and he had a huge game. If you take away that week 1 game against the Minnesota Vikings, just take away that Vikings game, he's 8th in the NFL in quarterback rating. Through the last 4 weeks, he's 8th in the NFL in quarterback rating, and that's with a second stinker against the Cowboys. You take both of those games out, you're nitpicking a little too much. But still, top 10 in QBR through the last 4 weeks. Huge game last week without Malik Neighbors, without Devin Singletary. Does Daniel Jones look better without Malik Neighbors in the lineup? Is he forcing the ball to him too much? Things to think about. Trevor Lawrence is looking kind of safe now. I mean, 15 points, 21 points last 2 weeks. Indy's defense isn't great. I saw that coming. You could add Trevor. I mean, maybe not this week. Chicago's defense actually does look like the real deal. And on that note, Caleb Williams, Bears have won 2 straight games. Caleb Williams, 300 yards in 2 of his last 3. Caleb Williams is looking serviceable. I'm not scared of the Jacksonville defense. He has a bye week 7, and then I'm not scared of the Washington or Arizona defense. So he has some good matchups coming up. I think you could safely add Caleb Williams. And even Bo Nix. Bo Nix is looking better. I would be afraid to start Bo Nix. I mean, he's broke 19 points in 2 of the last 3 weeks, but he also has single digits in 2 of the last 4 weeks. Keep an eye on Bo Nix, but I wouldn't necessarily add him just yet. And now moving on to running backs, I think you'll see what I mean when I say there is nothing on the waiver wire. You could add Zamir White. You could add Kyle Juszczyk if you want a fullback. I would not add Deontay Foreman. I mean, maybe Ray Davis as a stash just in case James Cook gets injured. I wouldn't personally want to add any of these guys. Maybe Eric Gray. I mean, yeah, he had 3 catches for 50 yards. Zamir White, I wouldn't want to add anyway, getting a bulk of the carries. He's still at his best game was 6.8. Alexander Madison has looked a whole lot better than him this year, coming off the bench and starting last week against Denver. So yeah, I'm not adding any of these guys. I don't suggest you add any of them either. If this is what your league looks like, which I know there's some leagues out there where it doesn't look like this, and you have like some people that might actually be worth adding. But this is why this is a real fantasy football league. I don't want to hear, oh, this guy's available in 50% of leagues. In my league, sure, Zamir White's on 61%. After that, 7%. Ray Davis is the next best you have available. And we don't even have extra bench spots. It's just we just own all the good players. Don't ask me how. Just this is what's happening. Even at wide receiver. I'm a Ravens fan. I don't want to add Rashad Bateman. I mean, unless I'm desperate. Jalen Polk. I'm pretty sure Jalen Polk actually did play 100% of the snaps this week for New England. I guess that's the upside on Jalen Polk, is he was out on the field a lot. And as we preach, the more you're on the field, the more you get the ball. We love the snap share there. We love the time on the field, but then simultaneously, he's out there for 100% of the snaps and has 1 catch for 13 yards on 6 targets. New England's a mess. Don't mess with them. Jonathan Mingo, I guess, is an option simply because I saw Xavier Legette got injured this week. And with no Legette or Adam Thielen, it would be Mingo or Deontay Johnson, but I'm also not thrilled with Mingo here. Demario Douglas, we've called out Demario Douglas on some episodes in the past. I mean, another big game. It's his second 9-target game in 3 weeks. So if anything, Demario Douglas would be the guy I want here. Out of all the running backs and wide receivers here, Demario Douglas is the guy I want. And I'm honestly probably not even going to add him just because New England is such a mess. You know, it's, as we say, the tight end carousel. Tight end's been a mess all year long. You have your KOTH, you have your Bengals tight ends, you have your Hunter Henry who had his one big game this year. If you need a flyer on a tight end, go ahead. KOTH played 100% of the snaps again this week. He's always out on the field. He'll have a good game. He'll have a stinker. You never know. Mike Gesicki and Eric All both only had 2 catches against the Ravens this week, and the Ravens defense isn't even that great against tight end. You know, it's tight end, but even I would add some of these tight ends before I add any running backs or wide receivers this week. We're on bye weeks. If you need to stream a defense, you have a lot of good options at defense here. Eagles against the Browns. We don't even know if Deshaun Watson is going to keep starting this season, and even if he does, he's stinky. Texans against New England. I mean, we just said I don't want to add anybody from New England. New England stinks. Colts against Tennessee. Titans are coming off of a bye week, but, you know, Will Levis has been Will Levis this year. Cue that silly face meme. Love the Bills against the Jets. Jets stink. Falcons against Carolina. Now you're starting to push it. Carolina's been on the upswing. I think it's a little skewed from those couple Bryce Young weeks still. Yeah, aside from that, you have 4 solid defenses to add here. Not much else. Add some quarterbacks. Add some defenses. You got bye weeks. You got places to fill in. You need to stream some people. Now, on that note, let's take a look at my Yahoo league where things are drastically different. I don't know why on Yahoo versus ESPN, free agents and waivers seem so much deeper on Yahoo. I don't know if it's just the way they value certain players over others. I know the draft rankings are much more different on Yahoo too. But I mean, on Yahoo, in my Yahoo league, you have Ray McLeod. I would not add Ray McLeod. I think this is also a half-point PPR. He has not broken 10 points yet this week in half-point PPR. Tyler Lockett, though, honestly, I could add Tyler Lockett. I kind of need a wide receiver in this league. Josh Palmer has been pretty stinky this year. He's honestly, I thought he would be the number 1. He's looking like wide receiver 3 for the Chargers anyway. The Human Dortch, he's around. You could add him. We have a running back maybe worth adding, and Emmanuel Wilson. I think I'm going to add Conklin in this league. Nobody in that league is going to watch this video, so I'm going to add Conklin in this league. That's my waiver wire ad here. You have Mike Williams, Jalen Tolbert, Zeke. Darius Slayton looked good last week, but if Malik Neighbors is back, I wouldn't add Tyler Boyd. But you see how many more options you have in my Yahoo league versus ESPN? Seems to be like that on a weekly basis. I was able to add Alexander Madison in my Yahoo league last week, and I started him. In this league, I also dropped Ty Chandler last week. So, of course, Aaron Jones got hurt literally 2 days after I dropped Ty Chandler. But that's how things work. You know, I dropped him for Alexander Madison, though, and Madison looks fine. So I'm not worried. Anyway, we will end on a look of my Yahoo team this week. Mix things up a little bit. We went 3-0 this week. We're in first place in 2 leagues, including this one. We're 4-1. That's who is on the wire, and we are on the way to week number 6. I'm Matt Mods. This is King of the Hill Sports, and I am signing out.